Hey, Gabriel,
Hey, Gaybros Jose.
where are we today?
I'm in San Francisco, where
And
you were yesterday.
exactly, yeah, only 35 years ago, 35 years, 35 hours ago. I mean, it almost feels like 35 years, honestly. But yeah, no, that was a nice trip. It's weird because we didn't record as much as we did on my previous visit.
Well, we really only had like 5 days to spend together, and I was sick most of them. And you were
Yes.
working full time.
No. No, that's fair. That's fair. Cool. So talking about recording, what did we watch this time?
We watched the 2002 film The Hours by Stephen Daldry, based on the based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel.
Of the same name. Yep. Yeah, and this actually was my pick. I'm not completely sure what oh no, I think that I know why I picked it. Because this right now we are recording the week after the Oscars. And as probably maybe some people have heard by now, there was like a bit of an incident happening on it. And
I was going to bring it up, but then I was like, this is going to come out like 2 months.
I know, but people are going to remember about this one for some months. People are going to remember about this one until next year, you know. So one of my favorite memes that they pop up thanks to this event, it was Nicole Kidman completely overreacting. You know, like with her mouth like completely open and about to just start running to the stage. And the text said is like it took this to happen in front of Nicole Kidman for her to move her face again. And it's like something that it just made me think is like, is Nicole Kidman a good actress? You know, and we're debating about like the range that she has. And I think that she can be a good actress, but usually she's a bit more self-contained, let's say. Maybe the only what?
Like her performances are more subtle than.
Correct. Yeah. And she actually only won an Oscar for this, I think. I don't know if she was nominated for anything else.
I know she was nominated for that movie with Aaron Eckhart she did about losing a child.
Oh yeah, Rabbit Hole.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing she's been nominated a number of times.
Yeah. But in any case, I really wanted to watch this one again. It's a movie that I had like a good memory of it because of several things. And I wanted to hear your opinion about it.
Also, she was nominated this year.
Oh, that's true, yeah. For the Ricardos, yeah.
And in 2017 for Lion.
Lion?
The one about the Australian mother that adopts an Indian boy, and the Indian boy goes back to India to try and find his family.
Oh, gotcha. Is that the one about Google Maps?
I don't think so.
There was a movie like some years ago that it was someone like trying to find their home thanks to Street View.
It could be. She was also nominated for The Hours and Moulin Rouge.
She was nominated for Moulin Rouge.
According to IMDb, which we know is always accurate.
Wow, I didn't remember that, but that's cool because what I was going to say that she's usually like pretty self-contained and subtle, except in Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
That she embraces the histrionics and tries to do like a bit of a drama flair to it. That I like. Actually, I think that she does. I mean, I like that movie way more than I should.
No, we both agreed that it's, upon rewatching, it's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
Campy, but it's good.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, it's campy, it's histrionic, you know, it's over the top. But so
like
enjoyable. It's gone?
Just like you.
It's exactly like me. It's like just a movie made like just reflecting my soul. But you know, I had to think that it's like even when we watch Eyes Wide Shut, is that she does a really good job. So I think that she's good. But I remember that this role really stick with me. Virginia Woolf on this one. So what is this movie about?
Oh shoot!
Yeah, you got to summarize this.
I forgot. Okay, so the film takes place in 3 different time periods. I can't remember the years. One is like the 1960s, one is 2001, and then one is whenever Virginia Woolf was alive.
23, I think that it starts in Essex, and then they move to Richards. But the Julianne Moore part is the 50s.
Is it the 50s or the 60s? I thought it was like 62 or something.
I may be wrong. Doesn't matter. We
Doesn't
know
matter.
that.
Anyway,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
50s, 60s, that time period. So we see Virginia Woolf, who has tried to kill herself a couple times. Well, the movie opens with her committing suicide, so that's not a spoiler. She's mentally ill. She's tried to kill herself. She's hearing voices. They never really say what the diagnosis is. But because of that, they had to leave London to go to the suburbs so she can get better, but she absolutely hates the suburbs. The Julianne Moore period is post-war America. She's married to John C. Reilly. She has a young little boy. I can't remember his name.
Richie.
What, Richie?
Yep.
She's pregnant with their second child. And the day that we spend with her is her husband's birthday. She spends it with her son, making 2 cakes because the first one messed up. She goes to a hotel to kill herself after dropping off her son with a neighbor. Ultimately, she decides not to kill herself, and she goes and has the birthday with her husband. And then the day we spend in the present, or 21 years ago, what's the name of the actor that wins the award?
Ed Harris.
Ed Harris plays a man with HIV. He's actually the son of Julie.
That's a bit of a spoiler.
Well, 21 years, man.
20. Okay. And
No,
I
the
asked.
film took place in 2001. Oh, okay, yeah.
But it was released in 2002. Yeah. And I had to say that it's like when I was watching it, I was like just biting my tongue. This is the first time that they saw like both characters. About like, was this obvious? Because the first time that they call Richard all the time, but the young kid is that they take a while to call him Richie. You pay attention, Julianne Moore is always like just calling him Sweet Pea, Love, and
yeah. So the day we spend with Ed Harris and his good friend Meryl Streep, who is a lesbian and has a partner played by, I love her. Why can't I think of her name? She's the voice of Permanente. She's from West Wing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. And Meryl Streep has a daughter played by
Clarice.
Claire Danes.
Say again?
Claire Danes.
Claire Danes. Yeah.
And so Ed Harris he's a poet and a novelist, and he basically put his entire life into his novel, which kind of exposed a lot of people, including Meryl Streep. There's no bad blood really, but everyone's kind of in shock that he just, wrote their life story. He won an extremely prestigious poetry award, and so Meryl Streep, who is his caretaker, I mean, they don't live together or anything, she is planning a party for after the award ceremony, in order to honor Ed Harris. We're just going to do full spoilers, but when she goes to help him prepare for the reception and the party, Ed Harris, talks to her and quotes a lot of Miss Dalloway, and then he jumps out a window, and so there is no party.
Yeah, well, I mean, something that you actually left, unspoken is that at the same time we see like Virginia Woolf that is writing Miss Dalloway, and we see Julianne Moore reading Miss Dalloway, and we see like the characters in the feature like basically portraying like what happens in Miss Dalloway.
Yeah, so the book itself is about a woman who's hosting a party, right? And she's so confident that everyone assumes that she's fine, but she's not. She's suicidal. And both Julianne Moore and Meryl Streep are exactly in that position. They're having to throw a party and they're just broken inside. And all 3 of them are basically looking for a reason to live. Obviously, Virginia Woolf did not find that reason. And then we find out what choices Meryl Streep and Julianne Moore made in order to stay alive.
Yep.
And then at the very final scene, at Meryl Streep's home, the day, obviously it's a day, the entire movie takes place in a day, Julianne Moore arrives, an aged Julianne Moore, and we find out that she, instead of killing herself, she decided to wait until the second baby was born, and then she was going to abandon her family, which she did. She just left, and she explains that she was either going to kill herself or leave, and she chose life. The end.
That's good. That's good. I mean, and also Meryl Streep like chooses life at the end. She was saying that she was not feeling any kind of excitement about life, except when she was with Richard. And then at the end, we see her like just hugging her girlfriend, Allison Janney.
Allison Janney, I love her.
I love her in Antonia. Like a bit more like just trying to embrace life. And there are like many quotes around the movie, around like what happiness is and what satisfaction with life and what is like trying to escape of it all. So I honestly thought that you would like it.
Okay, so we both saw this movie before. I haven't seen it since it was in theaters, so it's been 20 years for me.
Okay. For me, probably like 15. I don't think that I watched it like right away. Maybe not 15, but 18 or something like that.
So what I remember, and also I was 18 at the time, living in Idaho, so was thinking this is just kind of boring. I was 18. In fact, my sister is a voracious reader, and so when I like a movie, she likes to give me the book that it's based off of. She gave me this book, and I was like, I'm not going to spend 10 hours reading the movie I didn't like. So I honestly didn't know what I was going to feel going into this, but I fucking loved it.
Okay. Oof. Okay, because you scared me. I had to say that I really liked it like the first time. And this time I found it like super movie, you know. Is that just, and besides that, I watched it with my boyfriend, and before we started watching it, we were talking about like composers, and it's like when it started, it's like, wait, is this Max Richter? It's like, oh no, it's Philip Glass. But it was like, it has to be one of the minimalistic, you know, that they're like 3 or 4. It's like, oh yeah, it's Philip Glass, but it's really good.
A funny story, I had a playlist of Philip Glass songs that I listened to when I read this beautiful book, the Song of Achilles, about him falling in love with his Patroclus. Like it won the Orange Prize in England anyway, and so like all of those memories came back because it was like these songs.
This is over there. Yeah.
Fantastic. Although I will say it was a little overbearing a couple times. I was like,
oh yeah, no, the music is used here pretty liberally, you know, pretty like, yeah, this is what they need to feel, you know, but it's good music, you know, it's music, as you said, is that you can listen to this soundtrack without like watching the movie. Is like, this is good.
Yeah.
The other thing is like this, and I was telling this to my boyfriend too, I'm surprised that it didn't win like best adapted screenplay, because I think that is really good as a screenplay. Good, I wouldn't.
Very, very close to the book. Like it stays very true to the original story.
Yeah, I think that, you know, that for example, what Charles Kaufman did about like, hey, take this book and he just turned it upside down, is like in this case, it's not because the book is already this story, you know, but it actually turns upside down in a creative way, like the story of Miss Galloway, like just putting Virginia Woolf, the writer, as one more portrayer of Miss Galloway.
And it's brilliant. Like, so the way I told the synopsis is I gave a synopsis of Virginia Woolf's day, and then Julianne Moore's day, and then Meryl Streep's day. But that's not how the movie shows it. Like, it goes back and forth between all the stories. And that is really difficult to do, in my opinion, and keep the viewers focused or not like distracted by it, especially when one is like, 2 of them are periods, right? Like, we're moving in and out of periods, and I just thought the direction was like mind-blowing, like really, really good.
There were like some small details that I didn't like about the direction. You know, they are like, especially towards specific parts of the movie, they try to make like very short takes, I think that is more like the editing. And it's like, okay, when you're doing that, is that you're trying to make things like a bit more frantic. And it's like, this is not a frantic movie. It's not going to be like benefiting any kind of way of frantics, you know?
Do you think that was it all intentional to make the viewer understand what's happening internally with these characters, that they're like frenetic and things are appearing calm? For instance, the Julianne Moore story, you can tell there's some sadness, but she hides things so well, but like she's dying inside, literally, figuratively.
Yeah, figuratively. I don't know. I'm not completely sure, because the scene that pissed me off at the beginning, it was like Virginia Woolf was going up the stairs after she has been saved, because I think that the movie opens with she trying to commit suicide.
Yeah, she's writing letters and then she goes into the river and floats away. And that was the successful suicide.
Oh, that was the successful? So it ends at the end? Okay, I wasn't completely sure if it was like the end. Because we see then like Leonor like running after her.
Yeah.
Into the river. But then what we see is like them in a house somewhere, and how she actually just goes up the stairs, and they're like a conversation between both of them, between Virginia and Leonor, and the camera changes like several times, like fairly quickly. There is like, what is the point? And maybe it's because I watched like the beginning of the movie twice, because I started watching it by myself and then I watched it with my boyfriend, that I felt a bit more of confused, like why did you do this when then you have like these long scenes and everything. I could say, in any case, that is beautifully shot. There are the scenes that they actually are stuck in my brains from the first time that I saw it, like when Julianne Moore is thinking about like committing suicide, and it's like, and that is funny. That is like the idea of committing suicide, as Albaisi was going to be like just taking pills. They flood the room. That it would be like what would happen if Virginia would commit suicide. That it was going into a river.
It's a pretty powerful shot. It's like shot from above. She's laying on a hotel bed, and the water just starts to rise very violently, and Julianne Moore just stays still while the water covers her, holding her stomach, holding her baby, pregnant. Actually, it's interesting. I hadn't thought about this until just now. At the end of Virginia Woolf's day, she basically tries to run away to London, and her husband chases her to the train station. They have a discussion, and she said, look, if I stay in Richmond, the suburb, I will die. I have to go back to London. And he agrees.
Yeah.
And I think there's kind of a happy ending for her in that way. But then when she killed herself, she was in Richmond. She was not in London.
She was in I think that she was in Essex.
Oh, you're right.
So they may actually, they may actually go back to London, and then they may actually move out again. As a way, it's like, no, you cannot handle this, and they may actually move out, and it's like, I cannot handle this either. I
hope she got back to London.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is something that you can just probably find like pretty easily on the Wikipedia. In any case, I had to say that I love how well portrayed the depression is for the characters of Nicole Kidman and Julianne Moore. And it's funny because it's like the third actress is Meryl Streep, and I think that these other two do it like really well. And I'm saying that Julianne Moore did it like pretty well.
Well, we know that Julianne Moore was born to play sad roles.
And cry. Because it's like actually.
I do think that Meryl Streep, her performance was remarkable. Like the sadness written on her face was amazing. But Julianne Moore did so much without really speaking.
Yeah.
Which was crazy. I mean, she does speak in the film, but like you can just see that she's suicidal without ever saying anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you like the scene when she leaves the kid for a while?
With
and she starts like just, and the kid starts crying. He goes berserk.
It didn't. I mean, we only get to spend one day with these characters, so I don't know if the kid had like behavioral issues or something. But it didn't like. He must have known something was up. He probably didn't know it was suicide, but at first I was like, why is he reacting? Like, this is clearly something she does. She leaves him with the neighbor.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was a bit more of a bit over the top. Of course, the kid can actually maybe feel it's like, hey, maybe your mother is not coming back. And I love how she actually says, without saying, I was thinking of committing suicide, how she says, I thought that it was going to be like taking longer, but at the end it didn't. It's so subtle, you know, and there is like this understanding like between both of them. I think like in between lines, how she's destroying his own song.
Just FYI, this was nominated for
for a lot of in acting.
Oscars.
Yeah, in acting, Meryl Streep wasn't, but it was Julianne Moore, Nicole Kidman, and Harris.
Wow.
And I cannot believe that this didn't. The what?
How must Meryl have felt that year?
I mean, the thing, she does a good job, but I don't think. I mean, the other two were amazing. I think that Nicole Kidman does an amazing job too. You know, it's like it's true that it's like more subtle or anything similar to Julianne Moore, and Meryl Streep is a bit more out there. And it's like I was telling John, is that look, you can see exactly like the scenes where they were going for the Oscar. You know, that is like from Nicole Kidman is where they are in the train station as she's breaking down. Julianne Moore is when we have like the old version of Julianne Moore, and she actually comes clean about like this is all that I did. And it's like I did it because I thought that it was like the best. But for Meryl Streep, I was thinking, what would it be? It's like when she actually gets honest with her own daughter.
I would argue, I'm sorry, I can't think of any names. What is the name of the man that comes to her party super early?
Oh, Jeff Daniels, no?
Jeff Daniels, yes. Jeff Daniels plays an ex of
Oh yeah, that's right. As she breaks down of Ed Harris,
yeah, and she sobs and she starts talking about everything, and that's when Jeff Bridges tells her that the second he left Ed, it was the first time he had felt free in years, basically saying that he thinks that once Ed Harris dies, Meryl Streep is going to feel free.
And it's what happened at the end. Yeah. And it's what happened at the end.
Yeah.
That she was fearing that she was going to be like, I missed the only time that I was happy. But it's like, no, she was stuck in time because of a happy summer that they had together.
And it was horrible that Ed Harris called Meryl Streep Mrs. Dalloway.
Dalloway, I think. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Mrs. And you said
and
Jeff
he actually
Bridges.
has her kill herself in his book, right?
Yeah, no. The one that killed herself is the mother.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The thing is when they say is like, oh, the mother was alive. Is that yeah, that part was made up. But she actually abandoned the family. Basically, she killed herself from the pictures of the children.
No, I thought this was brilliant. The acting is remarkable. I liked the direction. I thought the pacing was great. There were a few slow moments, in my opinion, in the Julianne Moore day, but nothing insane. Music was great, and like I also found it very touching, and just having a glimpse into these women's lives felt very intimate, and I don't know. I just like this a lot.
What did you
have that good of taste?
What did you think that all the women here, they have like some aspect of lesbianism and a bit incestual?
Yeah, it was interesting. I wondered why they made Meryl Streep and Ed Harris overtly gay. Like, what is the purpose of them being gay? But they were all lesbians. I think whoever wrote this book, I don't know the name of the author, was really trying to update the Virginia Woolf story. And Virginia Woolf was a lesbian, and the story is getting retold over and over.
No, that's fair.
It also makes a lot of sense why Julianne Moore was so miserable in her marriage.
That's true. That part is true. Yeah. But it doesn't explain why Meryl Streep was so stuck into an affair that he had with a guy. that happened to be gay.
Yeah, I don't know. Because she quote unquote liked him. They never ever really call her a lesbian. In fact, it's very confusing when the daughter shows up because she has a lesbian partner. And I was like, but they've only been together 10 years. So was she with Ed Harris and they had a kid? We find out.
No.
That
Yeah,
I know, but like,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I mean, that's the only part that I feel a bit strange to me is like when Julianne Moore makes out with Toni Collette. He's like, sure, yeah, of course, a happy lesbian woman marry because that's what society tells you. But then when we see Virginia Woolf making out with her sister,
yeah, that was weird, right?
That was freaking weird. That's like, okay, I understand that is that she can be a lesbian and also be unhappy because of this, but this is taking it a bit too far.
They're real sisters, right?
Yeah.
I almost wondered, were they lesbians, but then they had to call each other aunts, and the kids were aunts. Yeah, I don't know.
No, because they say like multiple times it's like your sister that comes from London. If it was not because even like other people mentioned your sister. So no idea. That part was like, I feel a bit disturbed by this. I don't know how to take it, but I guess that everyone here is like a bit of a free love spirit.
And it's interesting because Julianne Moore doesn't make out with Toni Collette. There's a kiss that goes on too long. There's no tongue. No,
actually Toni Collette says that it's like, oh, that's sweet. You're a sweet person.
Yeah. She was into it.
And then she actually asks Julianne Moore, is like, oh, did it bother you? He's like, what? I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let's do it again.
Exactly. Let me refresh your memory. But no, I think that is like one of those movies that the pieces are good, but the end result is even bigger than the sum of those pieces.
Yeah, I agree. I think, well, not to jump ahead to the questions, but this film is going to stand the test of time. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's going to be...
It's 20 years.
Yeah. An important film of the 2000s.
Yeah. I mean, it's 20 years old. Dude, it's 20
how many
years.
people do you know that are still watching The Hours? That's what...
No, I mean, I don't know many, but it's a movie that it still feels as fresh as when it was done. Yeah. Because the part about like 2001 is like it doesn't matter. The only way is actually just connecting with a recent present, but it's like just putting like time distance in between the stories.
I love the fact that you can so tell this was done on film instead of digital, and it gives it this very, when I say grainy, it's not like the image is blurry, but it just gives this, I don't know, I felt very nostalgic watching something that wasn't in 4K.
No, that's fair. I think that there were like some blurriness from time to time. There was something that a friend of mine always tells me, that is like, hey, when you actually watch something like pre-HD, you see now that we have like 4K TV, the giant TVs, is that you see like this kind of, the focus is not exactly what it should have been. It becomes like really obvious, yeah, they were not playing with the lens right.
And it's interesting to me that this is Stephen Daldry's second film. His first one was 2 years earlier at Billy Elliot, which I don't know how it did at the Oscars, but they loved it at Cannes.
Yeah.
And he did this, and then 6 years later he did The Reader.
Do you like The Reader?
We should rewatch The Reader, because I also remember thinking it was boring.
Oh, you thought that it was boring? I wasn't a big fan of it. I think that I may have found it a bit boring, Not bad, but
Billy Elliot, and then does 3 stellar films.
Sorry, after Billy Elliot, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Did you like it?
I know that I watched that. There was one year I had access to Academy screeners, and it was that year, so somebody gave me a DVD and I watched it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, I didn't watch it. I have no idea. It has Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock.
I have a hard time watching films where kids are the main character, even if they're like made for adults.
Yeah, that can be a bit of a struggle. No, I don't know if I would be down for watching The Reader. If you pick it, I would watch it.
No. I have no desire to watch that film again. I mean, I do love Kate Winslet, especially as an illiterate Nazi who
Abusing of a kid, yeah. I just felt like a bit weird about like this is a very weird character.
It was bizarre. Also based on a book.
He's good at adapting stories, reading for others. Yeah, so that's nice. Cool. Should we go over the questions?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, would you watch it again
Yes.
tomorrow?
No, but in a couple of months I would, especially if my husband wanted to sit down and watch it. I'd be like, I'll watch that with you.
Yeah. No, same here. I think that with someone else using them as an excuse, I will watch it. And I think that this movie has been for a very, very long time in our to watch list.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was like a way of just using an excuse for watching it again. And I'm happy that we did. Would you recommend it?
Yeah, 100%. To basically anyone.
I don't know about my parents. I don't know exactly how would they feel about like the scene where Virginia Woolf makes out with her own sister. But beyond that, I think that they could be fine. I think that my mother would be horrified about Ed Harris jumping out the window, and also when the mother comes and says what she did.
Yeah, your mom, I feel like, might object to that.
Yeah, I found like super sad. Like what Julianne Moore says is like how sad it feels to outlive your whole family.
Yeah, it's crushing what she says at the end. It's really well written, but devastating.
Yeah. Would you remember it?
Yes. I paused there because I'm trying to remember how much I remembered from 20 years ago. And I remembered the basics of the 3 different days. Although I do get it confused with another Julianne Moore movie that came out at that same time where she plays a housewife. Anyway. Yes, I will remember this pretty well.
Yeah, I would remember it too. I had to say that there were like some scenes. Of course, I remember Richie and Richard being the same person, being the one that dies. Julianne Moore comes as an old woman at the end. Meryl Streep lives with her girlfriend. The scenes of committing suicide. Julianne Moore, like just the bed, like just letting the water in. Yeah, I think that overall, I think that I would remember it like the next time. I mostly the same.
I do think that I had forgotten that Richie was Julianne Moore's kid.
Oh.
But you mentioned it when we had drinks the other night.
Oh, sorry, man. Sorry, I
No
thought that
worries.
you would remember that. Yeah, and today, as I was saying, when I was watching it with my boyfriend, like from the first time that they say Richie, I was like just giving like a side eye, like just checking, like, is he realizing about it? Until they do. I think that when they reveal it for good, is that they do like a overlay of Richie on the window, mommy, screaming mommy, and it's like, oh, they are the same, and there is like this point of, oh. It's like revelation, but it's like that moment is like so heavy-handed that is that, dude, you can leave it to the air, because I even thought that is like they wouldn't disclose it until Julianne Moore comes at the end, but no, they did it there, like pretty point blank.
Far From Heaven is a 2002 movie where Julianne Moore also plays a 1950s housewife that's miserable, so that's why I confuse them.
But the thing is, like in Far From Heaven, is the husband that is gay.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I saw both those films 20 years ago, and I've kind of fused the plots in my memory. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. There is a musical of Far From Heaven.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying anything.
That would be a downer, right?
Oh yeah. I sang like one of the songs, and yeah, it's not like an uplifting song. It's a bit more. It's like, I love you, but I love Dick more. Okay, so is there anything artistic about it?
Yeah. The acting, the music, the story itself. It's all very artistic and very beautiful.
Yeah, there are like some of the scenes, they are like beautifully shot too, you know, like the scene of the suicide, or like when they find the bear and they give a funeral to the dying bear, and Nicole Kidman just lies next to the bear. I like that scene. It's like really pretty, you know. Is it a timeless piece?
Yes.
Whoever the answer is. Yeah. For me, I fully agree. I think that we could watch it like 20 years in the future and we will still feel moved by it. Would you turn this into a TV show?
No. I think we need to see all 3 stories or all 3 days told just in a single package. Otherwise, it loses the inertia of the story. Yeah. No, I agree. It could be like pretty easy to say, hey, there are 3 characters, let's just do like a mini movie, you know, with 3 stories. I don't think that will work well. You know, I think that it's not that they are bad, either of the stories, but I just think that they complement each other really well. And if, for example, you see like the Julianne Moore one by itself, it could be like a bit slower pace. If you see like the Virginia Woolf, it could be a bit more, I don't know, random, because some of the stuff that happens there, like the animosity that the maid has with her, that's completely random. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that it works better as a 2-hour movie. Do you think this movie could have been better?
To be honest, I might have cut out a little bit of time from Julianne Moore's story. But I guess at the very end, it all comes together. But throughout watching it, I was like, okay, this is really slow in some parts. I mean, not that it bothered me, but maybe just a little bit tighter editing.
Gotcha. Yeah. I made a complaint earlier about like a couple of scenes. I think that actually I have written about like no, but I'm going to be like going with yes, and I'm going to be agreeing with you. Like the editing could have been better, but not about like just cutting like some pieces. I just think that there are like some parts that they are too heavy-handed or too over-edited. You know, like I was telling you earlier about like the Richie screaming on the window while we see Richard in the present. You know, that is like, oh, they are the same person. You don't have to do that. It's we're already going to be I think that the impact would be significantly bigger if we discover at the end that is oh, Julianne Moore was the mother. It was not a coincidence that one was Richie and the other one was Richard, you know. But I don't know, maybe it was a focus group of dumb people. No. Yeah, they said that, I don't know, why is Julianne Moore here? Who knows? But yeah.
What do you think the budget of this was, by the way? I know what it is, so.
Yeah. 15 millions? 15?
25.
Okay, yeah.
I was just thinking with all of that talent, and there's a lot of big names, then filming in New York, having a period set, it'd be a lot of money.
No, that's true. That's true, because actually one thing that impressed me is like all the costume design and the makeup and everything is like they went all in, you know. It doesn't feel like the cheap version of a period piece. It feels like
the Gilded Age, where you're like, no, this is right.
It just felt like they put some effort. It's true that they don't go to London, for example. It's that you're always out, you know, you're always in a charming little village in the suburbs, you know. But at the same time, it's like what they display on camera is good, you know. It's like it's believable. So from that perspective, I was like, yeah, this is good. The 50s part, they went all out, but I guess that in Los Angeles, it's pretty easy to find like stuff from the 50s and 60s.
I would like to see this as a stage play with a stage that rotates and it's split into thirds. And every time you go to the next story, it spins. I would love that.
I wouldn't. Honestly, yeah. I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't, because I think that they're like, the cast is really large here. And I just feel like in a theater play, it feels like rotating on everything. And there are like many characters that they're there only for a moment. You know, like Jeff Daniels or Claire or whatever, you know, is that they're like just there for doing their thing and they just disappear. And usually the stuff that works pretty well on theater is stuff that they have like the recurring cast from the beginning to the end.
Like a movie we're gonna watch very soon called Mass.
Very soon. So before we go into score, I want to ask you if you remember. Yeah, let's do this. Let's see if you remember Ghost for Park.
Oh, screw you, man. No, I don't remember anything from Gosford Park, except there are 8 million storylines. That's it. Somebody gets murdered.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to remember. It's like I don't remember it either. Now when I saw it, it's like, yeah, this is a period piece that my brain completely blocked and it flashed out of it. There is like the woman from Downton Abbey, because Downton Abbey was supposed to be a spin-off of this. There are rich people like getting together in a mansion for the weekend. Some of them are actually like new rich money because he's an LA director from Hollywood, and he's trying to make a story from the murder that happens there.
I remember this. Now, never ask me to remember a Robert Altman film. I'll remember it was an experience and I loved it. That's it.
That's true. I mean, I'm not going to be asking you about Shortcuts, and I think that I will remember Shortcuts way more than this.
I do remember that more. But Gosford Park we watched a long time ago.
I think that we watched Gosford Park after watching Shortcuts. This was like 75, so almost like half of the podcast ago. And Shortcuts. Oh no. Wait. Sorry. Shortcuts was 29, episode 29.
That blows my mind.
But I think that it was like more charismatic, like the stories. I don't remember all the stories. I remember Julianne Moore is on there, is like the painter, like the half-naked painter.
And we see Julianne's Moore.
Julianne's Moore. Okay. Well played. So, should we score the hours?
Yes.
So this was my pick. So you have to score first.
8.5.
Holy shit, that's my score too.
I almost gave it a 9, but I didn't. So I
I see that you did it.
9 is kind of rarefied. This is a great film for me, but 8.5 is pretty darn good.
Yeah. So, but I had to say something that you said earlier. That is like people are going to be like looking back, like in 20 years, and they may actually say that it's like this is one of the good movies of the 2000s.
Yeah, I really do think that'll be the case.
And I agree with that. And I agree like the script is good. The idea is really good. I was like mind blown when I connected the dots when I was watching like the first time after 10 minutes. And it's like they're like riding towards the future. It's like it's amazing. It's like it's a very creative kind of angle, you know, and it's like exactly what I was like thinking about on attention. There is like a creating angle of narrating a story. But at the same time, I feel weird. I don't think that it gets to the point of, for example, adaptation. You know, about like the script actually does something insane. You know, for just getting there. That's a cool idea. And I will remember it, but it is not that 9. It's not that this is amazing. This is going to be like part of my 10 movies that I'm going to recommend someone. 10 or 20 or 100, maybe.
I'd have to check, but when I did the great Blu-ray DVD purge of 2018, I think The Hours is one of the few I kept.
Oh, you did? Oh, nice. Oh, yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Then you actually, you respected that.
I appreciated it. Yeah, I always respected it. I just didn't find it that entertaining, and this time I did.
No, that's good. So talking about entertaining, what are we going to watch next?
We're going to be going into the theaters, separate theaters, and we're going to be watching an A24 film that I can never remember the name of, so you're going to have to say it.
So I think that we're going to be watching, because there are many A24 films nowadays, but Everything Everywhere All at Once.
That's the one.
With Michelle Yeoh, I think. Yeah, like that action actress from the 70s and 80s. Cool.
That's our relationship with A24 next week.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be like just building up some thoughts for you. Come on. Anything else to say about The Hours?
No, you should. If you haven't seen it, go watch this. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, probably we just spoiled everything, but still go watch it.
Sorry.
All right, well, and to those 6 people listening to us, thank you so much.
Wash your hands.
Okay, bye.